Okay, hello again at the end of day 25. So today, honestly, I was feeling pretty exhausted. So most of the day I spent doing research and planning, and I did do one commit. I will just very quickly take you through the little I've done today in between many naps. Okay, so behold, the one mighty commit I have committed to my repository today. So yesterday, Deepgram released a new speech-to-text model, which is supposed to be more than 50% better in accuracy in terms of word error rate for streaming, and almost 50% for batch processing compared to competitors. So I put this into my project, gave it a bit of a test. Got to tell you, the only difference I could tell is that now in my Deepgram account, it says that I'm using the Nova 3 model rather than the Nova 2 model. I still find that it mistranscribes text every now and again and gets things wrong. So, I don't know, your mileage may vary. So the way, I did this in the code, as I mentioned, there's just this here. But if you look at the speech-to-text Deepgram service here, go to definition, there is somewhere right here where the model is defaulted if you don't specify it, and I presume that the Pipecat team eventually will just update this, and so I can probably just undo this commit at some point. So then the next thing I did was look at Cerebrium for their deployment, and I just literally went through their quick start in the introduction, installed the first app, and got that working, and you get $30 to play with, so just try that out. So I'm going to do that. I tried looking at the billing thing. I had a look here. If you just wanted to run this for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 days, the cost is a little bit less than $26, which isn't too bad for if a server. But you do also have to pay for compute. And I was trying to figure out how you can actually calculate that. I'm probably going to be using CPU only. And I set this average runtime to 10 minutes, something in a core, on average, maybe 10 minutes. I tried to use this slider and look at how this jumps around. You can barely get this thing to do anything if you touch. Who is meant to use this? Look at this. Who's this for? It really makes me wonder, who's this whole service for? Is this for normal people? There's a hobby tier for $0 a month. Anyway, I'm just going to literally try it and see what happens. And actually, while I was reading through their documentation, they mentioned something about a pipeline logging thing, which happily merged into what I need to do next to actually get my end of call report working. So there's this pipeline task thing with these pipeline params. And notice there's this observers thing here. So I had a little look in here, and if I can find it now, base observer. This is a base class for pipeline frame observers. Observers can view all the frames that go through a pipeline without the need to inject processes in the pipeline. Useful for implementing loggers and debuggers, among other things. Now, I did think that I was going to have to add my own processor here, which would capture frames and log them all as you go through the different nodes. This log of selective frames would then serve as an input to another process. I would save that separately as an asset, this giant log of what's happened on the call. And then this would go to the input to a separate process whose responsibility would be to transform that into my end of call report. And it looks like I can use this instead of writing my own frame processor. And when it comes to the actual processing or transformation from this log, the raw log, into my end of call report, I'm thinking I can use this Instructor library to guarantee that, because I'm going to be using an LLM to do that transformation, and LLMs aren't 100% reliable. They're very good at converting unstructured data to structured data, but they're not 100% reliable. They hallucinate, stuff like this. And the Instructor library basically is a way of guaranteeing that it works every single time, because it will validate it and handle retries to make sure that that's all done for you. So that then gives me potentially a way to produce the end of call report, which I can then send to my Google Apps script to handle everything else from there. And then the final part of this was call recording, which turns out I just here had to give daily my credit card information, and then they gave me $15 to play with this. And it's apparently really simple. Like in the daily transport in Pipecat, you can configure that you want a voice recording to happen there, and then it will put it in the cloud for you. And the pricing, again, something with the pricing I just couldn't figure out. I still don't know exactly how this works, but I've got $15 just to find out. So I thought it was saying per minute. Per recorded minute, I guess, is this, and then additional storage is this. I had to literally look into the HTML to double check that it's saying that additional storage rate is this, right? That's what it's saying. And then this is just the per recorded minute, I think. I'm not sure how these two go together, but assuming it's just added up, doesn't seem too bad. I'll find out with the free pricing. Potentially, if it's exorbitant, which I don't think it is, I've seen asked and answered on the Discord server a way of just capturing the audio from the transport directly and saving that locally. So I could look into that. I'll figure it out. That's pretty much it. Very short. Next steps are going to be, I'm just going to get on with it. And yeah, cheerio.